Oh, ignore all this. Ignore all this. I'm making a slight change. So just one sec. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Broadcast Sunday, 8 o'clock. What else could you be doing but listening to the premiere talk show interview attitude podcast brought to you by the sexy motherfuckers at Braw Beard Oils? Yes, you want to make sure to check out all their merchandise. Head over to the website right now and their social media, because what we do here on Broadcast, well, I'll explain to you. First of all, my name is Billy Kirkwood. What we do is we get on some interesting, wonderful people from all around the world. We get to chat to them. It's just not about having beard or jaw pubes or whatever you want to call them. It's an attitude thing. We get to talk to MMA fighters, pro wrestlers, comedians. We've had ninjas on. We've had actors. We've had cooks, chefs, all manner of things. And of course, the way this works is we get to talk to them a little bit about their life, a little bit about their career, and find out where they are right now in 2021. Don't forget, though, to like and share wherever you're watching this podcast. And you can also head over to Spotify and YouTube to check out both the video and audio versions of the podcast itself, the archive. You can take us on the road with you. You can listen to us in the car. You can listen to us at a bar mitzvah, wherever you want to go. You can just take it. Right. Thank you for joining in. Let me explain our guest this week. So a friend of mine, always delighted to have him on. What we like to do is a little bit of our podcast hijack. This is where we like to reach out to podcasters in the universe whose podcast that we like, and we get to have a chat with them about not only what they're doing, but we get to do a little bit of crossover. Oh, it's the crossover you didn't know you needed. And today, ladies and gentlemen, I once gave him the moniker of Papa G. He did not take it into his career and has went on and succeeded without my guidance. Good for him. Good for him with his knowledge and his youth and his comedy and his jokes. Who does he think he is? I'll tell you who he is. He is a comedian. He is an influencer. He is a podcaster. He's the host of the Too Mutch Information podcast, and he's waiting for us right now in his bloody lovely looking podcast studio. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome live from Edinburgh? It's a wonderful Mr. Gareth Mutch. Ladies and gentlemen, there he is.
Yes. Hello, Billy fucking Kirkwood. How are we?
I am very well, sir. Let's pretend we've not been talking for 20 minutes already before the show started.
Can I just say, before we go any further?
Yes, sir.
What an intro.
Oh, you're more than welcome.
What a professional, mate. You smashed that. I mean, you've done it a bunch before, but I was just genuinely, thoroughly impressed with that, mate. That was incredible.
Oh, thank you very much. Finally, the praise that I have been waiting for. I'll be brick hard thinking about that later on. Mate, there's so much to talk about. Let's just get diving straight in. Stand-up comedian in lockdown. First of all, what a suck-ass year. Where are you mentally right now in 2021 as, well, it looked like things might be opening up. How's it been for you as a comedian, first of all?
Well, right now, my mindset and headspace is a lot more positive than it has been, for sure.
Yes.
But like I think, like anyone else, it's just been so up and down.
Yeah.
There's been genuinely some like really good moments, and like I actually think I haven't hated it. And I know it's like a weird thing to like say, but because it has been such a difficult time for everyone, but I haven't hated it. There's definitely been good parts of it, but then some shitty parts. Having to move back in with my parents because my landlord Tom Stade came back. That was a shit bit.
All right.
But then getting this like nice studio and like very much like yourself, trying to keep yourself as busy as possible in a fucking pandemic and learning a bunch of new skills and doing stuff that I probably would have never have done before. I'm far too lazy to have even attempted. So on that side of things, I've very much enjoyed it. It's given me crucial time to kind of take stock and start new projects and different ventures and just a different way of thinking creatively. So all of that has been wonderful and I've loved all of that. But you know, the other side of it is I actually don't feel like a stand-up comedian anymore. It's weird.
What?
I don't.
Well, I can understand where that space lives, but I think it's also I've still, this sounds an odd way of phrasing this, I've identified as a comedian still for the last 18 months because, well, I have got to do some gigs, and I've been very lucky in that respect. I've got to do the drive-in gigs. I get to go and do a radio show every day, and I've done some Zoom gigs as well. There's so much to cover about how things have changed during lockdown, for the good, the bad, and the better. We'll come back to those in a second, but we've got to talk about your journey into comedy, first of all. I will sprinkle in and out of this story for anyone watching, because there is
You definitely will, but trust me, if I'm talking about me starting in comedy, it's impossible not to talk about Billy Kirkwood. It's impossible.
Everyone's got the first time they met Billy Kirkwood story. Everyone's got their first time. Most of the time, I don't come off that well. There's no two ways about it. Particularly when people don't read when I'm having a bit of a laugh with my pals. Came in here, was an obnoxious dick. He walked in it basically. Anyway,
it's not my experience.
It's not about me. It's not about me. It's about Gareth Mutch, or Papa G, as you could have been called. You decided not to bother. That's a brave move. Where's the origins, mate? I'm not going to go back to when you were born and what were the influences. Oh, we can have a little chat about that. Why did you become a stand-up comedian? I'm sure this is a phrase. I nearly said I'm sure this is a phrase your father has said, but I can practically. Why are you doing this, boy?
Why this now, Gareth?
Why? Why
could you be a plumber boy, a proper trade boy?
I love your impression of your dad. I absolutely fucking love it. I've caught myself.
It's just Gilbert, innit? It's just Gilbert.
I've caught myself doing an impression of your impression of your dad in a totally unrelated situation. Why? What? You don't even like latties. You don't even like them. Wait. And you thanked this woman. You lied to her.
You put caramel in it. It's a desperate last-ditch attempt to try and drink a latte. You don't like them, boy. Walk away from them.
It's a dessert. What are you doing? Where did you start? Where was the point of? Because everyone can kind of vaguely pinpoint that you went, boom, I'm going to do a gig.
Well, for me, it was very much from about the age of like 12 or like 11, like just really young. I knew I was an egomaniac, and I just loved attention. Only child, and I thought it was going to be through acting. That's what I thought I was going to do. So again, as we just said, my dad there, I tried loads of different stuff. I like played football and rugby and stuff. I never really took to it. And I mentioned that I would like to try acting. So my dad went out and he had this leaflet for a local youth theatre, West Lothian Youth Theatre. And I went. There was a thing called Play in a Week where you go, and you do a play in a week. It's fucking right there in the title. And I just loved it. I was properly.
What was the play, if you don't mind me asking?
Mate, I'm very happy you did ask, because my parents were very, like, I remember before they sent me in, they were like, right, boy, this is your first time going in. You're not going to be the star. You don't have to be the star. Just go in, hopefully make some new fucking friends and just enjoy it, right? That was very much the message. Was
I love the fact your dad sounds like he's coaching rugby and they say you just go in, do what you can.
Go in hard, take him at the knees, what down? I'm theatre. But it was very much like installed into just enjoy it, just try and have fun. And I went in, and it became apparent very quickly that all the other kids were just there because their parents have just shifted them off somewhere. Son. I was like caring. So like on the first day, the person leading it was like, okay, so has anyone got any ideas for a play? And everyone's like, no, that seems like your job. I had like lists. I'm going, I've got all these ideas. So I very much kind of took the bull by the horns. So the play was about, it was called Fairy Tale Towers. And it was about all these fairy tale characters living in like one hotel. That's what a 12-year-old would think to do a play about, right?
Okay.
But like, yeah, and then I was like the fucking like the lead in it. And my parents were like, oh, he's taken to this a lot more than, you know, the football when I was always on the fringes and rugby. I was never really in it. I was never really part of it. First thing I did in this, they were like, oh, he's taking the bull by the horns in this. So I thought it was going to be that. And then I did youth theatre when I was like 12 till about 16, 17, 18 maybe. And then I went to college to study acting. And honestly, I don't fully know what happened. I think it was just one fringe. My dad took me in like 2009 or something, 2010.
Okay.
My dad took me to see, my dad always used to take me to see the Welsh stuff that was happening in the fringe. If there was a play that was Welsh,
that guy. They took you to see that guy.
Yeah. So my dad was like, oh, there's this Welsh comedian called Rod Gilbert. Let's go see him. So we went to the Pleasance Courtyard and saw him. And I think that was like, that definitely was the first time I saw stand up live. And it was this really weird feeling. I don't know. Do you have this? Because I haven't actually found many other people that have this. But like, see, when you go, I still actually have this. But see, when you go and see something, like if you're going to like see a comedian in like a theater or see a play or whatever, do you get like, not nervous, but do you get like a weird feeling in your stomach of like, oh, fuck, there's a show about to happen? Do you get that?
Yeah, I get butterflies.
But like, it's not even you performing.
It's not you.
You're just there as a audience member.
I hope this goes all right. Like, I actually feel nervous.
I have that. See, yeah, I do. I'm like, oh, I hope he doesn't fuck this up. So I'd never seen comedy before. I was like, oh, he's going to fuck this up. This is going to be awful. And then it was just the best thing I've ever seen. So that was like the first time I thought, oh, I'm going to try it. And I tried it at this open mic night in Bathgate. I took one pal from high school along. I think I was 16.
Bathgate Theatre?
Yeah, the Regal. The
Regal, baby.
It was like an open mic night. I followed a 13-year-old girl playing the flute. It was...
she was good, though. She was good hard.
Mate, she fucking killed.
Good opener. Good opener.
Yeah.
Fire starter. She's a good opener.
But yeah, that was the origins, mate. That was how it started, the Bathgate Regal.
So that first gig, 16, that is a young old age to be getting.
Yeah, looking back now, it seems ill-advised.
I mean, that's younger than Daniel. That's younger than Daniel's loss. I believe
it is.
I could. Dan, if you're
maybe
watching,
even the same.
Could be the same.
For
I remember gigging with Daniel maybe within his first couple of years.
Yeah.
And I remember there was the whole thing about when he was turning 20 because people were like, oh,
yeah,
20 now. And it's like, okay, fair enough. But 16 is incredible. I would never have had the balls to do it. I started doing acting and stuff around about that time, but I'd never shown any interest in it. I hadn't quite figured it out. I hadn't quite figured out that was something that you can do when you're working class and all these type of things. And I don't like bringing class into it, but it's kind of how it was.
No, you're totally right, man. Like, it's like, you know, being from a certain area, you're very much, there's a mindset of your options are A, B, C. And going outside of that is an incredibly difficult and just mad thing to even try. It's just are you more than other people know just how stupidly supportive my dad can be. So that's where it all has come from. Like, it's just him going, you can bloody do it, boy.
Your dad's a legend. Your dad's an absolute legend. So yes, but what we need to talk about is getting into actual comedy, taking that jump, because there's a difference. Like you say, I mean, hey, we've all got that sea of guys who goes, I do a bit of stand up. When did you do it? Once in 1996. Shut the fuck up, right? When did you take? I remember one. This is a true story. I remember doing it after I was trying to upgrade my maths. And get that whatever it was, and I was in a class, and it went round the class, and everyone said, "Tell something interesting about yourself." This young guy in the other room went, "Oh, I do a bit of stand up," and I'm going, "I can't fucking wait till it gets to me. I can't fucking wait till it gets to me." Because his job was, I think he sold cars or something.
Yeah.
Or he worked in a garage. But I'll tell someone to do a bit of stand up.
This is so fucking funny. If that was me, I'd just be like, knowing what's going to happen.
Working his all around. So tell us what you do for a living. I'm a professional stand-up. And you saw his head snap round. And I'm not saying, hey, look, I'm a nobody, right? Relax. It's the same for everyone, is what I say when I mention my name. It's like, yeah. But I do remember him going,
yeah, of course.
Cut you out, man. Listen, if you ever want to do a gig or anything, give me a shout. Okay.
Did you recognize him? Did you know him?
No, never heard of him before in my life. Never heard of him since. She was a nice guy. And when I tried to do a charity gig down here in Ayrshire, I literally sent the guy a message. Hey, I was trying to be supportive. How many gigs you done? I've only done a couple. Well, like, let's sort something out. If you got a bit of stage time, you shat it.
Of course.
Absolutely shat it.
Of course.
Absolutely. Of course. But you didn't. You didn't. You went, I'm going to give this a go. I'm going to dive into this world, this crazy world of stand-up comedy, which is like, hey, if you're watching wherever you are, it's like any other industry when you don't have a way in. There's no formal training. Well, there kind of is now. You can take a course in stand-up, but I don't think it's quite the same thing. There's no formal way in. So you've done the open mic. Do you just start knocking up, open mic slots, or what's the journey for you to try and start getting the wheels turning in the mud? So to speak?
Well, I did what most people should do if you're starting out. Is I applied for Red Raw at the stand, and I did them. I don't know if they still do this. I honestly have no idea. But at the time, they when you did your first Red Raw, they would give you like a list of here's the other places in Scotland where you can continue to do open mic nights and stuff. I don't know if they still do that. But so then I did those two. Looking back now, they were probably fine. But in the moment, I was like, more of this, please. So one of the gigs on that list that they gave you was Raymond Mearns had a gig in Largs. And I remember
died in my fucking hole at that gig.
Well, it's an eye opener. Do you know what I mean? That was my. This is what gigging in Scotland is, mate. If you want to join the circuit, welcome to Largs, right? I remember it was me, a good friend of yours, Neil Bratchpiece. He was on doing the Wee Man.
I've heard of him.
I think Rob Kane and Raymond was also on. And like, listen, it didn't go terribly, but it was my first sort of feeling of it wasn't the stand. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't Red Raw, which is like purpose built for you to succeed.
Yeah. I always say that, and if any new stand-ups are watching, Red Raw is fantastic. It's supportive. Hey, even as an old jaded comic like myself, I still love doing it. It's a great place to try new things, but it's a false economy.
Yeah,
it's
100%.
a false economy. Don't, because I've done that mistake. I remember trying out a new 5 minutes on the Tuesday, going, I am the greatest comedian in the world.
Yeah,
and literally like 3 nights later, doing my first weekend, going, I am shit on ice. I am awful.
But that's it. But you've got to do that. Like, it's so when you start, it's such a lovely gig to have as a Red Raw, because basically what that says is if you're even like half decent, if you've got something, they'll give you mileage to give you that back, and so you can continue and learn more. If you start and do a Red Raw and you get nothing, home time. it's home time. But yeah, so I did them. They'd went well, and then that first Largs gig, it by no means went well, but it also by no means was like shit. But it was a real eye opener to me, and I liked that. I liked this wasn't as easy as last time, and I quite liked that kind of thought of going, well, fucking, I need to make something happen if I'm going to be doing more of these, and then you do just gradually. I can't even fully remember now looking back, but like, I think you do all of the the weird, like Kirkcaldy's, fucking
Yeah,
Burnt Island, all the little weird places.
It's a honeymoon period, and it's I mean I loved that period. Like, I did very well in my first ever gig, and the next night died on my arse, and it could not have been the best thing to happen to me, because it's a difference between men and boys and girls, adults, kids.
100%.
It makes you go, oh, I want this. I like this. You suddenly realize, oh my God, it's like a feeling in your chest. I'm sure it's the same with footballers, musicians, tattooists, anyone that's in the creative arts.
Totally.
I feel something. I feel something
totally.
that
fully relate.
No woman can give you.
I fully relate.
But the cool thing is like, I was quite lucky because I got to do the Max Star apprenticeship, as I like to say. There's a comedian called Max Star. He used to run gigs all over the UK, all over Scotland, I should say, and they were in the little places and what have you. But that's where you got better, because you don't go. I mean, they're a cliched character, but imagine Red Raw. The guy does his first 5 minutes, went, that's really good. Hey, I'd love to headline. How do I go about doing that? I just email the stand. They're desperate. You get better. You get better by doing these little gigs and going and seeing more comedy. So that's a Cinderella period for you. You are loving it. Now, let's fast forward a little bit to probably, I think, our first interaction. Right? Our first interaction.
Yep.
I think. Now, I know it.
So
we know it. So, if I've got it wrong, this is me getting your first Billy Kirkwood. It's Aberdeen, right?
It is Aberdeen.
Right, okay. So let me give you a little wind back in this. I was at the Edinburgh Festival doing a show, very successful show called Show Me Your Tattoo. Listen, they were hanging for the rafters. Should have been here last month. Went very well.
I'm really upset that gig is no longer a thing. I've got tattoos for one. Every time I'm like, one day this will mean something to Billy.
One promise I've made to myself is it's coming back. Yes. It's coming back. It actually would lend itself very good to a video podcast or something.
100%.
We'll have you now, but there's so many. There's so many. So we'll wait till the time is right, I think. But anyway, gentleman in the front row, Welsh gentleman, spoke to him briefly during the show. Lots of fun, great attitude. Pleasure to have him in the audience. So there's a promoter up in Aberdeen called Naz Hussain, runs Breakneck Comedy, good friend of mine.
Shout out to Naz.
Shout out to Naz. See you on May 28th, Naz. And he said, hey, there's a young comic based in Edinburgh that is going up. Would you mind giving him a lift and all you're at the Fringe? Not a problem. He's only new. Not a problem. Not a problem. So I meet the erstwhile with Gareth Mutch. We'll talk a little bit about it from your side in just a second.
Yeah.
But I get up to Aberdeen. I'm walking in with Gareth. We've had about 3 hours in the car. We got to know each other a little bit. As I'm walking in, Papa G was born. And I walk in, and this gentleman, the Welsh gentleman that had been sitting in my front row of the gig, only a couple of days later, meets us. And I clock him straight away. Yeah. Like, hang on, you're what? But he knew you.
Yeah, he did.
Now, from your point of view, Mr. Mutch, the floor is yours. What the fuck was going on here?
I'll tell you exactly. It's a brilliant story. So I am dead new to stand up. Yeah. Me getting booked for that gig off of Naz up in Aberdeen was my first ever road gig, as we call them, right?
Yeah.
So I'd said to my dad, "Oh, the promoter's even sorting me out a lift." This is all so new and exciting to me. I'm like, "Oh fuck, I'm going to be in a car with a comic on the way to a gig." This is at that point, the stuff of fucking dreams, right?
Yeah.
So my dad is like, "Who's giving you a lift, boy?" And I'm like, "Oh, his name's Billy Kirkwood." Billy Kirkwood. I've not heard of this Billy Kirkwood. I will look him up in the Fringe Guide. Look your show up, and I went, right, I'm going to go see his show, see if I approve him for safety for my boy, right? So he goes to see it. Loves you.
I've been disclosure checked by your dad. I've been disclosure checked.
Oh, but that was totally it. He was like, because I'm still 17 at this point. He was like, I'm just going to bloody go check this man out, right? So he went to your show, loved it. As you said, got fully engaged in it. He came back and went, you've been approved, boy. You can go. But here's the thing. As I was saying to you, my dad is stupid, honestly, stupidly supportive, but he will also give me fucking critique. So genuinely, what happened was he was like, you totally go in the car with Billy, totally get that experience. That's great. But at that point in me he just didn't want to miss a gig. He was like, I don't want to I want to see you perform for fucking 5 minutes, right? He was like, I want to see that. And in his head, and mine, I guess, from not knowing what snafu was, we were like, we'll get away with this. Of course we will. You'll never see me. I'll sit at the back. We'll be fine. And I remember as soon as we walked into the venue, he was walking out the toilet. You clocked each other immediately. And he turned to me and he just went, oh, fuck, the gig's up, boy. We've been caught.
No, you see, when he said we've been rumbled, boy, yeah. I remember my head snapping around and going, what the fuck is that? Because I was like, I don't know what's happening here.
It's a mental thing to have happened. It is a mental thing to have happened.
All these things went through my head. Is this like candid camera?
Yeah.
Is this guy my dad? Like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. Like, I'm literally like, what the fuck is this?
Guy my dad?
Mate, I had no, from my point of view, it's like,
oh no, mate, I fully appreciate how mental a moment that is, but I can promise you, see at 17 as well, like just started comedy, I still probably had that like, oh dad, you embarrassed me in front of Billy, dad. But looking back now, 27, I just look back at that and go, you know what? That's an adorable dad, isn't it? It's so fucking clunky brilliant. And clumsy, but that's he just wanted to be there. So he drove up himself just to not miss the gig, and we thought we'd never be seen. There's fucking Dads 25 people there. Yeah, man. Well,
and I remember our certain Papa G fucking smashed it. I remember he did very, very well in front of Dada. So very good.
Thank you for that, mate.
As much as you can in front of 25 people. I've got you back. Don't worry about it. Should have seen it. Hanging for the rafters. It's always how I like to.
Yeah, no, I'm fully aware. Both of us are of how mental that moment is.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Like I honestly. I just remember like so many infinite possibilities rattling through my head as to what is happening here.
I bet.
But it was because he was in the audience the day before. I just completely.
It was him just clearing you for. He was clearing you to see if you were. You got cleared. You got the green light.
I'm all good. I passed the test. The test.
He loved you.
Right, so we're kicking things off, man. We're getting rock and roll and getting into the world of comedy. You've done solo shows at the Fringe. They've been big success there. A regular act at the Stand Comedy. Well, you know, as much as they can. Hanging for the rafters. Should have seen it. Producers are running out crying. We can't. We're not ready for this to go on TV. They were saying.
Yeah.
That's always what I tell people. Honestly, I can't think of one person that's Steven Spielberg came in.
I really wish you smoked now. Just you look so, it looks so natural. It comes to you so naturally. So cool.
You know, well, talking about acting, right? I mean, I don't even drink. I remember once I had to get cast holding a cigarette at a play, and I was so clunky with it. I was so awful. And apparently, I'd put an extra R in whenever I'd say the word cigarette, but so it sounded kind of French.
Yeah,
like cigarette. Cigarette. It's like, what are you doing? It's like, I think I'm saying cigarette. It's like, you're doing it now. I'm like, it's an extra R in there. So you're a proper actor, though. You're a proper actor. But you've done it.
Good God, no.
Who knows? It's time. Well, you're going to play the dad in your life story when that becomes when that becomes a Young Rock NBC sitcom. You're playing your own dad. We've got that sentence. I don't know who they'll get to play me, but you get moving in the world of comedy. What is the ambitions, right? Because I'm always interested in terms of young comics or newer comics at this period, because you get some guys, and we know them, Gareth, they come in with a 5-year plan, and that's great. I'm not criticizing that. Sometimes I wish I could go back and have a word with myself. Maybe have a plan, but I was always like, this is just great. You know, just enjoying it. We're broken away from what was a proposed plan. Maybe, you know, and that again, that's not a class thing. It's just the way life is. So, what were your ambitions at this time then? What did you want to do?
Honest to God, and I agree with everything you said there as well. I know these people that come in. You can kind of tell just by meeting them. Oh, these people have a plan to be successful, and you know what? Sometimes that just almost like stubbornness, just like fucking tunnel vision, creates it. I never had that. I always just thought if it was enough, like if I could like go around the country, world would be even better, but even country, like the thought of Sunderland and fucking like that excited me. Like just the thought about spending my weekends going around the country, making enough was the total enough excitement for me. And like I look at people now, like who are people like yourself and Nelson, Jojo's, Vlad's. Like there's so many, like there's loads of them. Like I look at all of you and I go, that would do me fucking cushed. That would do me plenty.
Oh, you don't want none of this, mate. You don't want none of the Billy Kirkwood run.
No, you know what? Billy Kirkwood, Billy Kirkwood, being totally 100% serious now, Billy Kirkwood, fucking maybe more than most. Because I love how you got so many different hats, man. And it's like you're so fucking busy and productive. But you get to do all of these loads of different stuff that you all love and have the same passion and drive for. Like, I would love to have a fucking radio show. Doing the podcast this year has like made me kind of realize how actually just cool the idea of that job is.
Yeah.
You love wrestling. You are now a fucking commentator that features on the WWE network. You've been a part of that journey. That's incredible. You do stand up. Like, you've got so many different hats, Billy. And
I do appreciate
more than most. Mate, that's fucking true, isn't it?
I do appreciate it. I just wish one of them would be successful. Jesus.
They are, man. Of course they are.
Just one of them.
Of course they are.
One gig, £8 million. You'll never see me again. You'll never see me again. I swear to God. I swear to God. I'm gone. I'm a ghost.
I don't believe that. I believe you are the sort of person you could give you millions and you'd still be there fucking at the Irvine Arts Centre the next weekend. I fully believe you are.
Well, I haven't. I'm way above that. I haven't played that in years. But I'll play that tomorrow. Just stand, keep booking me. It needs to be anywhere else but that. But I get that. I get it's a little stage. It's one of the things that I love is getting to perform in front of different audiences and different scenarios and bringing a creative energy, which is one of the things I wanted to talk about. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll come to that in a second. Take a quick step back. And I get asked comics this, but you talked about how you were kind of falling in love with comedy and you watched comedy and it was something you were interested in. Is there a gig? And I always ask this to comics, is there a gig that you go, one day, that one? I want to do that one. I can tell you what mine's is.
Yeah, please do.
Mine's is, well, there's two of them, really. There's the Montreal opening gala, right?
100%.
Or there's the gala at Just for Laughs. If I got 3 minutes on that stage, whether good or bad, like that's almost one that could retire me because it might be like, that's me. I might have done it. I'm never going to chase this again. You know what I mean? Just that gig that you go, that one. I want 100%. That one. And I'm a big believer in you should always have little boxes to tick. You should always have, every year just a little something you're moving towards. You're going to get there every year. What's the gig for you? Is there a dream gig that you go, that one? I would like to do that one.
I mean, you've picked two belters.
So
I'll try and go a bit of a different way with it.
Okay.
But I remember when just very fucking so grateful for it. But when Ian Stern does his tours, when he does his Scottish dates, up until now, he's asked me to do a few of them, and we I think we work well together. Like a lot of his stuff ties into my stuff, so he gets callbacks off the back of my stuff, so it works well together. And I remember Ian's been building an audience through stand-up and Love Island and CBBC, all this sort of stuff. It all plays in. You see all of them. You see the hardcore stand-up fans. You see the Love Island fans. And you see the people that have like been riding this train since CBBC. You see them all. And he's built this up. And on his last tour, which was like fucking 3 years ago now because of COVID, he played the King's Theatre in Edinburgh for the first time. And he was so lovely, man. Everything he was saying, like when we're like backstage and like going through, he was like, "We're doing it, Mutchy. Look at this. It's us, mate. We're doing it." And I was like, "It's so lovely of you to say, man. But we're not doing it. You're doing it. And I'm so glad to be here." Like, that's what's happening. But just seeing him, like Edinburgh boy, fucking first time he's playing like the King's Theatre, it was just such a big thing for him. And seeing him go out and just fucking rip it. Like, don't get me wrong, I got to do, should have done 20, did 25, bad Gareth, but I was just enjoying it too much. I got a taste of it, and it was fucking unlike anything I'd experienced. And I'm not shitting on the clubs, I still love that, but it was just so different. So I guess something like that, when you could put your own name on a big theater. You're the reason why people are going to the theater, I guess. Would be mine.
It becomes an experience. It becomes like, I mean, I will say to anyone that listens, and I know it still gets me shit after all these days, but the Stand Comedy Club stage on a Friday or Saturday night is the greatest gig on the planet. Wherever you are, whether it's Newcastle, Edinburgh, and I'm sure these guys at the Comedy Store in LA or Comedy Store in New York, they say the same thing. I'm not saying it. I'm saying it because it's true. It's wonderful, but getting to support those big acts, just even for a second. And Ian, I've liked Ian since the first time I ever met him. I just thought he's a great guy. He even got me some warm up and dog ate my homework way back.
Yeah, man. I made a cunt of it.
I made a cunt of it, Mutchy. It was the way.
Really?
No, I was fine. It was fine.
I was going to like that.
But I was never asked back. Let's put it that way. I was never.
You'd be perfect for that.
Oh, I don't think I was at the time. But anyway,
what up, cuntos? Billy Kirkwood, let's wreck the place.
Oh, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. But actually, it was at a period where I was doing warm up for loads of different shows, and I think I know Ray's done it and just stole it and made that role his own. It was just amazing. Stole is the wrong phrase, but you mean stole the show. Yeah, no, I knew what you meant. I'm not bitter. But and then Roscoe's doing it. So, but that again will have come. I know it will have come from Ian. It will have come from Ian and that gracious attitude, because they can in those roles get somebody, just an act from London through an agency, boom, get it down. But he's clearly gone no,
100%.
And I think it's very important to pay back. He doesn't need to do that. He doesn't need to do that, and I think that's very important. And it gives you that lift as well. That is something that you go, the big theatre one, it's almost a complete scenario. It's like we talked about when you do the gigs, the wee dingy gigs, that's what you're training for. You wouldn't be as good if you just bypassed and went straight to that.
Of course.
And you're a student of the game, Marchie. I want to talk about that because every time, I know you just seem to ingest stand up as much as possible. Is that because you're wanting to learn from it, or is it a little mix of the love and the learning for your job?
Yeah, it's totally both. I will always watch stand up specials, whether I love them or hate them. Just I'm obsessed with the start of a special, or the start of I'm obsessed. I am obsessed with them. Like seeing people do different stuff, and I just sometimes where there's just sometimes it's like the big rock music, the biggest entrance possible. And then sometimes it's just stripped down. They just lights up, walk out, and you just hear all. And that's just as impactful. But I also I don't as much watch to learn or improve too much anymore. To be honest, because I kind of find it bit detrimental if you consume too much of it, because I kind of become that person accidentally.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, but there was this. I think it was fucking Stephen Merchant, of all people. But he had this, and I still think that's a really good way to fucking learn. Is he would say he would watch stand-up specials, and he would watch the comedian do the routine, and during the set he would watch the setups. And then he would pause it, and he would write what his punchline would be, and see if he got it right, or if not, that could birth a new bit because he took it this different way. I think that's so weird. I would never do that. But I really always liked it as that's a fucking weird way to look at that.
That's very interesting.
Yeah,
that's very, very interesting. I like what you said about the starter gigs. I always find that very interesting. Probably comes from my love of professional wrestling. What would my entrance music be? But then when you break it down, I have also started going, how do you start a special? Because I'm never sure. Yeah. How do you actually physically a set? It's one of the hardest things. I mean, you'll be told the technical side of it. We should have, one of your best jokes first. But then it's nice sometimes to say hello. Yeah. And then what happens after hello? You want them to like you and get an idea of who you are. And then, right, now here's a joke about about fingering, just to get us into the scenario.
Yeah. It's just to ease us slightly into the set with a bit of fingering off the bat.
I'm a nice fella, but I have these horrible thoughts.
Yeah.
When do we? He looks.
When do I introduce that to the set? I need to say hello first because it would be insane if I just came out. I'm nice, but here's some mad shit. I think there needs to be a easy landing.
People do. I remember once at Red Raw, a lady came out, just started, just no hello, nothing. This literally. So I was in this. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Is this the bit? Oh, this isn't the bit.
I think I've been not told off. I'm fucking 27. You can't get told off by another adult. But comedians would always kind of say, "Mutchie, you need a new opener," because and I do now, especially because my opener up until now for the last 4 or 5 fucking years has been where the ladies make some noise, and then they all go woo, and I go, yeah, I'm not good with you, and then I think that's an easy way into my kind of. I'm not a threat, affable kind of. It's all the jokes are going to be about me. It's all self-deprecating stuff. I just always found that was a nice way in. But now, as a fucking engaged man, it would feel a bit on the nose to say that. No. Well,
she liked it and she put a ring on it. That's all I'm going to say. She liked it and she put a ring on it. That's all I'm going to say. It's softened you. It's softened you. We got to come and talk back to lockdown times. March 2020 will go down as D-Day for a lot of us. In that respect, gigs closed up. I've spoken to the likes of Liam Withnail and Roscoe about what happened during that period where it was like, what now? What the fuck? Because we didn't know. I mean, in terms of any type of performance, events, bike rallies, anything at all, was a case of, oh, we're all going to be out of this by May.
Yeah.
What was your thoughts, Mutchie? Because I've got to admit, and I've told people this, I never thought it was going to be out by May, but I didn't think it was going to be this bad. What did you think going into it?
I thought it was absolutely going to be done by May.
Really?
100%. It just didn't seem real to me. I always base everything of what I think's going to happen with the past. And up until this point, I remember fucking swine flu was scared about, and I was like, well, I didn't fucking get it, so I'll be fine. History tells me I'll be okay, right? I'm very fucking naive in some aspects, is what I've just said there. So I definitely did not see this shit coming. I thought it would be 2 months max.
Right.
So I thought in that time, keep the ball rolling, because without trying to sound as cunty as I inevitably will with this, what I'm going to say is that that last little bit up before lockdown was probably the most fun and the best I think I had ever been in stand-up, and I really just kind of felt with myself that was I was starting to really just I can fucking do this now. It was the first time doing it, but I felt anytime I was going on stage, something that Liam Withnail said in this podcast, which I totally agree with, and that's I feel like I was getting to that place, was I had my 20 minutes, but I would always allow a little side path just to fucking go off and still have 100%. Fun every night. He put that so eloquently. I fully agree with that. I felt like I was there. So then when we stopped for a bit, I never wanted to just I was like, okay, there's no live gigs, but I didn't want to just stop. I was like, I need to keep this moving. So I thought I'd go podcast or YouTube, because I'm very much, I like to sit down, think, and edit this fucking brain. People like Roscoe and Liam that you mentioned there have smashed the Twitch game and stuff, which is, no fucking easy feat. But I think it is just, different people for different things. I was speaking to Mark Jennings about that as well. He was like, Twitch would never really be for me, but he's it's very clear. Sorry, I'm not even answering the question. I'm just rambling.
It's very clear. What you're doing is you're painting a narrative of thoughts that I think lots of comedians had.
Yeah.
It's right now what then? I've got to be prepared for. Some people. Yeah. Some people are just down tools, which was mystifying to me, because it's I love this. I love this. And I don't want this to stop. What do I do? I mean, I went barreling into, I'll do Billy Kirkwood's Friday Night Lockdown, and I'll do.
Yeah, of course.
And I'll do a version of a gig every Friday night, and that'll motivate me. And I think I burnt out in 6-7 weeks, because it was right, okay. Yeah. That was maybe.
We've never done this before. That's totally to be expected. But it was very clear. You could put them into two sort of camps. There was the comedians that kept going, whether that be YouTube, podcast, Twitch, Facebook live streams, whatever it was.
Zoom.
The comics, comics that kept going, and comics that just fucking went, right, I'll see you all when it's over. And those, as you said, those people, I'm like, and it's clear as day to, I think, everyone, especially in the industry, who those people are.
Well, I found that really
such a weird decision to make. I don't get it.
Yeah, I find it confusing. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's only so many audience, and none of us have really got the profile that we'd like to be able to instantly engage with that audience. We can, but grind away at the cliff face, so to speak. Was always the way I looked at it.
Mm-hmm.
Keep sharpening the tools that I'd worked all this time to develop. And even then, there is times like, oh, fuck, I've got to do a gig. Oh, Jesus, right, I don't remember anything. But it's in those moments that you go, you know, I've kind of got a new bit. I've kind of got a new bit that I'm working on, which is what I thought was good. I was confused by the idea of people not doing it. I mean, we've got to say, for the record, circumstance is not as easy for everyone. Particularly when you have your living taken away from you, which it was for a lot of people. You know, might have been a pittance for us all, but it was still our living. And you've got to get jobs, you've got to do other things. But I have to do another job in order to pay my bills. But I know I would have still kept doing something. And I'm confused by the idea of that. And again, this isn't a criticism, because I know it's individual cases, but there was literally some people that just went, no, nothing, I'm going to wait. And it's like, so, and these are the same people who go, can't wait till gigs are back, it's going to be amazing. But
good luck, I guess. Like, because I'm fucking terrified. How are you feeling about this prospect of gigs coming back? Because as I said earlier, like, I still feel like a comedian, and I still feel like that's the overall arching umbrella of, I want that to be my identity, I guess. But as far as like stand-up goes, fuck knows what I'm doing when I go back.
I've been lucky from the respect of, I got to do some of the driving gigs for Alan Anderson last year, which were great. I got to do some Zoom gigs for Naz at Breakneck Comedy. We've both got to do the stand specials on the Saturday night, and Susan McCabe's Comedy Cellar, and of course we'll be doing Monday Night Improv, doing things. The gig ones in particular, when you're standing up with a microphone, the one thing that got me about those was, oh, thank God it's still there. Was the biggest thing, because there was a couple where it was like, fuck, what if it's just not there? What if it's just not there, and I can't, it's gone. Because we panic after 2 weeks off.
I know, well, mate, that's it. That's all, and that's always the cliched thing that people say of, like, if you go on like holiday or whatever, and like you're in that green room after going, I haven't fucking done this for 2 weeks. Oh, I'm going to be rusty as fuck. That's the cliche thing that we all say. 2 weeks is the number. And it's fucking, it's, it's not a million miles off for 2 years now. It's not
but the one good thing is I think during this period, actually, with things stopping a little bit, everyone's got to slow down, because you're just going every weekend, gig. It gives us a little time to breathe and set. So in terms of gigs coming back, I've got to do like a garden gig last year, and that was great as well. I'm excited for it, because it's going to be something brand new. And people talk about audiences not wanting to come out, but something, by then we'll have drunken all the pubs. We'll have been to all the house parties. We'll have, done all that stuff, eaten everything. And trust us, we've tried to eat everything.
Some of us have. Some of us didn't just try, Billy.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Didn't climb one hill in lockdown.
Good man. That's what we're winners. We're winners. All these quitters going out and running, pricks.
So many of them on Instagram. Just fucking, I did a hill today. You're doing it wrong. Get Disney Plus and fucking eat your weight in crisps.
Oh, tell me. But in terms of things coming back, I think audiences will want to come back, because it'll be something different once everything is as safe as it can be. And it can be made safe, Gareth. That's the one thing we need to bear in mind. So in terms of ambitions, well, we need to talk about the main thing is the podcast. Too Much Information, right? We need to talk about that, because I always love the name of your shows. I'm jealous. Because Kirkwood goes with fuck all. Fuck all. Fuck all.
Would I lie to you? No,
it doesn't work. It doesn't work. I've tried. I have fucking tried. It goes with fuck all. Fuck all. Joe Lycett has some Lycett heart. And it's like,
Lycett's a belter. Lycett's a belter.
Son of a bitch. That's the way Joe likes it. Fuck
Belters.
that guy.
Belters, huh?
Can I have a couple of your show names, if you don't mind?
The best one I ever got, and it ties in nicely, was given to me at one of your gigs. I was driven by infamous comedian Reverend Obadiah Steppenwolf III. And so in the car, I'm speaking to the man, and he was like, I was telling him that I think like I was just going into like Too Much, Too Young or whatever. And like I'd just done like I'd just done Much Ado About Nothing, and I was about to do Too Much, Too Young. And he was like, I love it. And he was like, by the end of the night, I'm giving you your next one. And it was just one of the fucking most glorious moments, because the man then became the Reverend, put the fucking wig on, and he came back into the room full revved up, and he went, I got it. Starsky and Mutch.
Oh!
and he's like, you could have so much fun with a poster of you on a cop car. Yeah. So Starsky and Mutch, there's loads. I think I'm, and this is maybe after what you just said, sad news, but I'm thinking about retiring the old Mutchy pun name show wise.
Well, that's all we've got time for this week on broadcast. Bringing it down on that lead balloon. So what have you got planned for the next one?
Well, the next one was going to be called Lean In, just because I find myself saying that, and like it's kind of being like a weird life mantra that I've adopted.
I got you.
Just fucking lean in, man. We're here now. Lean in.
Yeah.
And I just think if you do that overall, it'll probably lead to a better, happier life, hopefully. So that was like but mate, to be fair, I fucked it from last year, but the last fringe show I did was called Gareth Mutch, the Old Man in the Carvery. What the fuck was I thinking? It genuinely, I wish more people had pulled me aside and went, really think about this, mate.
You saw the poster, you'd lived the dream of that. I get it. I get it.
It was I didn't really speak about it. It didn't even really come up.
Here. There's going to be a violinist on during my whole show. I am creating art. All right, let's hear all the ladies. Right.
There was one fucking belter of a moment where a woman came to see my show from The Guardian, and she was doing reviews about shows that she assumed would all be about food. So there's this woman from The Guardian that's come to see my show. It's called Gareth Mutch, the Old Man in the Carvery, and it's just like 50 minutes. Well, not 50 minutes about my dick. That would be insane. But there was a whole dick bit in there, Billy, and this poor woman was just sitting there going, yeah, well, this certainly would not make the review. And she promised me at the end, she was like, I've misjudged this. I won't review your show because that wouldn't be fair to you nor the people reading. And she fucking put it in. She's like a big deal, apparently. I can't remember her name now, but she was on like MasterChef and stuff. She's apparently a big deal. I remember Lara Bross was like really jealous that my show was reviewed by her. But I was like, but it wasn't about fuck. She thought there was going to be bits on roast spuds, and there was not. You're there doing the entire set, preparing a roast for the whole audience. I think that's probably what she thought was happening, Billy. Just putting the goose fat on. This reminds me of a time when I was talking to Rick Stein about. Is that a cook? I might have just picked that name out of the air. I was on my way. No, Rick Stein's a cook. It's very cool. Yeah, good for me because I said Rick Stein. It's like, have I just taken Rick Steiner from the Steiner Brothers and just tried to make him a cook? Is my brain so addled by pro wrestling? Amazing, incredible. Scott Steiner trying to figure out what the numbers are so he can get the right portions in the dishes. I don't know. But we come to the podcast. And it is about, that's what we're talking about. Jesus Christ. It is about leaning in, if you like, or it is about, turning into the curve, whatever. We want to do the podcast. You're more than welcome. It's called The Callback. Boom! Tom Hanks is dead. That's a call forward. Stay tuned. Is anyone doing call forwards? I'm not sure. Well, we are now, Billy. You're changing the game.
in about 3 years, when Tom Hanks dies, you'll go, fuck, Kirkwood's in the long haul on that one. I'm officially the first one to make a joke about Tom Hanks dying. There you go. You're welcome. But let's talk about the podcast then. I was really excited to hear when you were doing the podcast for lots of different reasons. And we talked about people going in different directions, and because I was the same as you, people going, why didn't you get on Twitch? Twitch would be purpose-built for you. And it's like, I actually like watching Twitch, but purpose-built for you. It's not for me. It's not for me. It's Roscoe, I think, is the benchmark. No disrespect. Totally. I mean, Libby's obviously amazing, but
Roscoe was outstanding on it. I fully agree.
Roscoe, Gareth, Liam, of course, Mary Elaine.
Mary Elaine smashes it. Yeah, I was just going to say Mary Elaine.
Perfect for her. Absolutely perfect. Man. These are all people. These should be TV shows. They're not TV shows because of the way the world is, but now they're Twitch shows. And I think that's
kind of your own TV show, isn't it?
Yeah, it's perfect. But you went podcast, and I remember those early days when you were doing the videos and what have you, which I loved. I loved all the videos.
Thanks,
what motivated you to go the podcast route then, or what did you want to get from the podcast? What was going to set it aside for you?
I guess it was just because that was the stuff that I was consuming. Like I'd be watching podcasts before that for like years before that. So I guess that was just like as close to a reason why I did stand up was because I watched it and I loved it. The podcast was kind of the same thing. I was like, well, I've watched all these favorite comedians of mine do this. This is what I would like to emulate. I didn't really know what Twitch was as well. That wasn't even really an option because I didn't really know what the fuck it was. And also, yeah, as I said, the thought of editing myself is just amazing. I love that. I can sit in front of a camera, ramble shit for an hour. 10 minutes of it will be good. Do you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I like the editing process, and also I really like and I'm not saying you don't get this with Twitch, but what I do really like about it is the fact that I have like a whole new fucking skill set. I'm sure it's the same with you, but I would never have known how to fucking like film and edit videos for YouTube, or like how to record a podcast and edit and put that out. So like it's a whole new skill set that has been learned, and I'm very sure that when we are back to normal, touch wood, hopefully not too long, that this continues. And I think it would be great if, you know, Withnail and Roscoe, I don't imagine Roscoe coming off Twitch or Withnail, to be fair, but like if they kept doing that alongside the stand-up, it's just we've all just taken this time to gain rather than lose. But yeah, the only reason I picked a podcast was just because that's what I was consuming before, I guess.
It's in terms of getting guests on, what you just wanted to make it more sort of casual chat, or was that about kind of exploring the sort of nooks and crannies? Because what I liked about it was it's not just like a straight interview show. You're kind of trying to have fun with it. Trying to have fun with it. And even though there's been interviewing here to an element, it was about making it an entertainment show, which I think is a big difference.
Totally. I think there's when I first started, like the first two guests I did, it was very like few days before I would sit and like think out all of the questions, and I just found myself like speaking to them over Zoom or whatever. Like I wasn't actually fucking listening to them. My brain was just going, right, how do I tie this into my next question that I've got here? Like, and I wasn't engaged. And I was like, well, if I'm not engaged in it, how the fuck can I expect people to listen to be engaged in it? And I have to, but at the start, in my brain, I was like, I'm going to get just a bunch of really fucking cool people on this. And like, I thought I was like going to be going for like big celebrities. I was like, so like the second episode, or like the second person I got on to chat with is fucking Dom Jolly. Because I just thought that'll be a laugh, and just fucking hit him up on Twitter being like, oh, podcast mate, do you fancy doing it? And weirdly within like a minute he was like, yeah, fucking what about next Tuesday? I was like, you're in the diary, trigger happy. But then again, like I kind of fucked it, you know. I think I've listened back to it, and I think it's an okay, good episode. Dom carries it, but I wasn't really present in it. And as much as, you know, like we were speaking earlier of like you go to these weird gigs in Scotland, that's the stuff that teaches you. Sometimes oh fuck, that was a real eye opener, makes you learn and improve. And I think I put down Dom Jolly's episode in the podcast as that of like, I remember just sitting there going, "Are you not even fucking listening to him? You're just focused on your next question," and that's not good. So, as much as I wish it went better, I also am grateful for it as a learning curve going forward.
And Dom knows that. Dom knows that it's something that you.
Oh, he doesn't. He's texted me so many times saying "fuck you" for putting me on that shitty podcast.
It's funny enough. He's actually texting me, just phoning me just now.
Doesn't surprise me. That's just the shit on me.
But no, but it does. It helps you learn, because like I remember when I first started doing the radio, and it's like I still don't think I do, but I think it's one of the things I get from you, Gareth, and I mean this with great respect, and I think it's amazing, is that you're still hungry to learn. 100%. And we were talking about the people that have taken the time off. You're still hungry to learn and keep developing. You're doing that through the podcast. You've had some great guests on recently. Obviously, I had Mark Jennings, one of my favorites. I think Mark's absolutely fantastic. And Joe's been on it as well. Has the Joe episode been out? I don't think I've heard the Joe episode.
Joe has, the Joe episode's out. Yeah.
I haven't heard it yet. I'll make sure to check that out. Joe McTiernan, a wonderful comedian. We've got to talk about him just a second.
Man.
Don't worry, I won't linger too long in it, because you carry the sketches you're in together. Sorry, Joe. You know I'm joking.
Do you hear that, Joe? I'm clipping that. That's going straight on Twitter.
I love that. Fuck. Joe's got a lot of editing skill. He can make me look like an arsehole within about 30 seconds. The sketches you started doing, again, during lockdown, you started doing these wonderful sketches. They proper made me belly laugh, and I don't belly. I don't. What I always say, what I do on stage is only an indication of some of the things that I like as a comedian. There was almost a very Vic and Bob style element about some of the sketches. When you do spend most of the final minutes of the sketch going, I love like howling.
Just silly. You're right. That's the stuff that would make me laugh as well. You're right, totally.
And you done acting, so after all this time, it kind of came back into a little loop, and so I kissed you on the cheek a little bit. Did you enjoy that? Is that something you'd be keen to do more of?
Fucking love to. I moan about it all the time. I just wish. I always go through these little periods where I go, I wish I had an acting gig right now. I wish, and then I think I'm cool to say this. It's not been like announced or anything yet, but I'm sure he'll be okay with me saying it. But Keir McAllister has like a online series of like almost like podcast plays. They were called the Corona Logs, and he did the first season of them, and he's doing a second season, I assume, because he asked me to do it, and it was like a lot, right? Because it was like 10 pages, just you, and I was like, fucking hell, that's a lot. And so Keir asked me to do it, and I was kind of umming and ahhing about it and going, I don't know if I'm actually going to do this. And it was my girlfriend, now fiance, Ailey, who was like, listen, I've heard you moan and bitch so many times about, I wish I had an acting thing to do. And now something that you have all of the time to sink your teeth into. And it's like, it's Keir McAllister's writing, which I genuinely am like, not even because he's a pal, I think he's a phenomenal writer. It was just a no-brainer. So getting to do that during lockdown as well, I spent like a couple of weeks on that, which I absolutely loved. That was another thing.
That's brilliant.
But on the Joe things, on the Joe sketches with Joe, that is him, man. That is his brain. Joe McTiernan has, I think, just he's such a wonderful, silly character actor. Like it's all the little nuances that he does just make me fucking deck it. And I don't really want to take, like, working with him and doing the sketch with him stuff was a joy. And I'm not saying I wasn't friends with him before, but my friendship with him definitely has grown through lockdown. But I don't want to really take any credit for him. It's all him. He's the brain.
I take away several things from that. First of all, I'd like to congratulate you and Joe on your engagement. I think it's great that you have found each other in the darkness. And also, Keir McAllister, I'll wait for the call for season 3. Right. what we got coming up? Too much information. That's that is the comedian answer I meant to give, right? Seriously, I couldn't
Of course.
Look forward to checking that out. No time frame on the.
Mate, it's like I've recorded mine and sent it away, and
brilliant!
I thought it was like on a deadline at the time. Listen, I don't know. It's in Kier's hands. I thought it would have been out by now, but I don't know. No, fuck knows.
He's just he's texted Tom Jolly and he's like, could you do this instead?
Have you worked with this dickhead as well?
All right, mate. We've got to take this into land because I could honestly talk to you all day.
Me too. Thank you very much for having me, Billy, mate. It's been a pleasure.
Where is the best place to get a little slice of Gareth Mutch? Where's the best place? The
best place to get a little slice of me, I would say, is Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You can listen to the Too Much Information podcast. There's a new episode every week. Can I hopefully be getting the fantastic Billy Kirkwood on very soon to be a guest? That would be a joy.
In full dickhead mode, that would be tremendous. Watch me burn all those bridges that are left.
Please. You could also go to a YouTube channel. I upload clips of the podcast on there and also just some funny videos if they come to me, whatever. Yes. And you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all that other shit as well. I'm there. TikTok. Fuck me. Why am I there? But I am. You can find me all over.
The way I put your podcast to other people is you will smile the whole way through it. You will literally smile the whole way through it. Not only do you get to listen to those dulcet tones, but there'll be something funny and there'll be something to make you think, and then there's a tangent of thought that will make you consider.
Yeah, I share too much on it. Like
far too much.
I called it Too Much Information because silly, hey, muchy puns. But then I just thought, fuck it, if I actually do share way too much information, that's the sort of stuff that I would like to hear. I like hearing someone just go, like in the car. He just said that. He hasn't just said that, has he? Oh, his career's over. I like that stuff. So
I like that.
It's just silly rambles, and then I have guests on, and we have a silly time too. I think it's all right. I think it's all right.
Well, listen, everyone, you got to go and check out my friend Gareth Mutch, his amazing podcast, Too Much Information, and he might still be under Papa G on some people. If you want to go and check that.
On Facebook, Gareth Mutch bracket.
I noticed that.
It's always going to be there. Always.
You can change it anytime. I will not take it personally. But me and your father have agreed that should have been your stage name. That's all. Right. I'm going to pop you back.
Biggest mistake of his career, Billy boy.
Mate, I tell you this now, I mean, I was delighted when I found out you were a nonce.
I'm so sorry about the whole Aberdeen thing, Billy. It's a fucking mistake. I regret it. But the biggest regret of that boy's life is not going by Papa G.
I think it's worked out pretty well for you. Although I did remember looking at a lineup and going, Gareth One, Gareth Mutch. One of them's got to go. That's all.
Yeah, man.
One of them's got to go.
It happens all the time.
My money's on you, Mutchy. My money's on you.
Thank you.
Let me pop you in the green room.
Not as popular opinion, but thank you.
Let me pop you in the green room and I'll finish this bad boy off and we can say a quick goodbyes. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Mr. Gareth Mutch. Right, that's all we've got time for on this episode of Broadcast. Loads of fun, one of our podcast takeovers. Make sure to check out Too Much Information. We are going to be back with more guests. And don't forget, Broadcast is going on the motherfucking road. We're going to be interviewing people from locations all across the United Kingdom with some really amazing guests to come up. If you know of anyone that you'd like for us to get in touch with, you'd love to see on the podcast, yes, we're going to be talking to more of our brothers and sisters from the Brawtherhood. But we like to talk to everyone, just cool individuals, man. There's some cool stuff coming. It's going to be great. Make sure to head over one more time to brawbeardoils.com. Get your very latest beard oil, combs, gears, t-shirts, hats, everything you need. Make sure to head over. They've got some absolutely amazing stuff. And hit subscribe on their YouTube account. And, of course, hit subscribe on Spotify or follow on Spotify. You don't hit subscribe on Spotify. You hit subscribe. It's just a badly named band. I've been Billy Kirkwood. Relax. It's the same for everyone. I'm going to get out of here, and we'll see you next time on Broadcast. Yeah.